Check, check, check.
Check, check, check. Testing 1, 2.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second edition of Zionsville High School Football, brought to you by AudioSportsOnline.com. I'm Aaron Steffi, and I'll be joined shortly by my play-by-play partner, Alex Masson. We're coming to you from the press box here at Zionsville High School as the host Eagles will welcome the McCutcheon Mavericks for their home opener. Zionsville hit the road to begin the season, but got out to a quick start in a 41-20 victory at Lafayette Jeff. Zionsville was led by senior quarterback Parker Dunshee as he accounted for 5 touchdowns, while the Eagle defense ended the game with 5 takeaways. The question mark coming out of last week was on special teams for Zionsville. Poor snaps and kicks were the story all night for the special teams, so we'll look forward to seeing some continued improvement in that department. McCutcheon took on Brownsburg last week in their season opener, which started out with a bang, but quickly unraveled for the Mavericks. Senior running back Nate Deno took the opening kickoff back 95 yards for a touchdown, but that would be the high point of the night for McCutcheon as they could not amass too much on offense. The final score of the game was Brownsburg 36, McCutcheon 9. And now it's time to bring in my play-by-play partner, Alex Masson. Alex, first home game of the year for Zionsville. What do you expect to see in this Hoosier Crossroads clash?
Well, it's good to be here, back home in Zionsville. Great night for football. Basically, I like to see from Zionsville, they're going to come out here. You know, if they can get out here and score quick points like they did last week against Lafayette Jefferson, they're going to be in really good shape. That tandem between Parker Dunshee and John Namchef, as mentioned earlier, is on fire right now, and I expect them to come out here and do the exact same thing as they did last week, taking charge with the passing game. That way they can slow it down a little bit later. Keys on defense for Zionsville, they've got to slow down the running back from McCutcheon, Nate Deno. He's a junior, 6'170", but he's very, very fast. And also the senior quarterback, Matt Marincic, strong arm, makes good decisions, 6'3", 195 senior. So we'll see how that unfolds tonight, and we'll hope to look what happens in the first quarter.
Both teams have come out of the tunnel and taken the field. Actually, we're still waiting on the McCutcheon team to take the field. Kickoff is pushed back tonight to 7:30 from its usual time slot of 7 o'clock due to Eagle Fest, which is an annual thing every season. The home opener here at Zionsville, it's accompanied with Eagles Fest, which is basically a high school tailgate party of sorts. A lot of people came out, more than usual, we thought, this year. And all the fans are here. Looks like they were having a good time before the game, Alex.
Yeah, there was a big sport field right across the street from the high school stadium, and a lot of people out there, lots of food, drinks, friends, family, and, you know, come one, come all. Anyone was welcome to come. It's short, small entry fee, and get out there and have some grilled food and see some live entertainment by the Zionsville Royal Airs. They got a good dancing and show choir crew that goes out there and sings and does a little performance before each game. And, it'll be nice to get out here and see some football here. I'm ready for this game to get started. About 2.5 minutes left before the kickoff, and the coin toss is about to happen, I believe.
McCutcheon is just now about to take the field. Game time temperatures tonight are going to be in the low 80s, high 70s. It's a beautiful night. No real strong winds to speak of that the teams will have to deal with. Ball should travel well through the air. That looks good for the quarterbacks, Alex. And as you mentioned earlier with John Nomchef and Parker Dunphy, Nomchef will get a lot of attention, but that's not all the weapons he has. He's got a big tight end in Carson Kennedy. Chris Mason stepped up last week and had a nice touchdown. And we'll look to see him throw the ball around like he did at the beginning of the game last week.
Absolutely, yeah. And one other thing you mentioned, last week, Zionsville, the David Jackson taking number 41, had 2 interceptions as well as Josh Porter had an interception as well. How the Zionsville
last week, but a lot of the team had heavy hearts due to a loss in the game. We'll talk about that once we get the game underway and talk about the game got moved back from Friday night to Saturday for the funeral arrangements. Like I said, we'll get back into that. McCutcheon, I believe, lost the toss, and Zionsville deferred. They took the ball first, and last week they took the ball first. Nate Dino took it for a 95-yard touchdown. And if you remember last week, covering the game. It'll be very interesting to me if it's resulting in kickoff. Obviously, we might see a change in kicker tonight as well.
And the last kid who came in there, I forget who it was, but he's only a sophomore, and he got in there and kicked a nice extra point. And we'll interesting to see if he's going to take the kicks here. And kickoff and special teams is one of those things where younger kids get to go in there and get a chance to earn that varsity letter. And having the lack of success last week, it's not a good way to start and as an opportunity point. And, I would think that Zionsville's not going to kick the ball to Nate Dino just because of his speed and athleticism. But, we'll see what they do. It's hard to control a kick 60 yards down the field.
McCutcheon, as we said, will take over first on offense. Only 2 seniors on the offensive line. Blake McCorkle, he's a left guard, and James Shoemaker, he's a right tackle. Other than that, a little bit of youth in the middle. Colin Post is a sophomore center. Tanner Flynn, a sophomore right guard. The left tackle is Kyle McGee. He's a junior, listed as 6'1", 275. So the kicker this week, not able to make out his number
Looks
up
like
here, 85.
Yeah.
We got 85, the kicker. Alex, can you find him?
Yeah. 85 is... Actually, there is not an 85 on the roster. 95, excuse me. It's Jack Greider. He is a 6'5", 170-pound senior kicker.
Okay.
I don't think we saw him last. He must be one of those soccer players who comes out and kicks for the team.
Yeah, he could be. We didn't see him last year. Just our luck. We thought he was going to be the one left off the roster that we didn't have.
That's
but
right.
We figured it out, and though Zionsville will kick off from their own 40, the left hash is where the ball is placed. And the kick is in the air, and it's a nice deep kick. It'll drive Dino back to his 5-yard line where he'll take it. And he takes it around the left side of the field looking for some open room. He's brought down at the 15. And as we were wondering, that was great kick coverage by Zionsville containing the fast Dino. And the Zionsville defense now takes the field.
Absolutely. Tackle made by number 51 right there, Mike Luce. So good start for Zionsville. Pins McCutcheon back around their 15-yard line, and we'll see what they can do here.
A long field to work with for McCutcheon. Last year, we saw them work mostly out of the shotgun with Marincic. And they're going to start this game in the I formation with 3 wideouts. The fullback is listed as Lane Beeler for McCutcheon as he sits behind Marincic. Marincic hands the ball off left to Nate Dino. He tries to break a tackle but is drugged down after about a 3-yard gain. So it'll be 3 or 4, Alex. I'd say 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. McCutcheon.
Yeah, pretty good run and good start from McCutcheon. Get a 4-yard gain on their very first play is not a bad way to go. And really good surge by the McCutcheon offensive line. Kind of blew up the defensive front of Zionsville. This McCutcheon offensive line is pretty big, averaging about 245. So, Zionsville's gonna have to fight in there and really get a jump on the ball to have a chance.
They are relatively youthful, but they do have nice size. Marincek started out in shotgun, and he pulls them into I formation again. Dino's in motion. And the handoff is around the right-hand side. Trying to turn the corner is the running back. That's number 38 for McCutcheon. Let's get a number on him, Alex. I believe that's Blake Elming.
Yeah, the backup sophomore running back, 5'7", 140, but he's got speed. He got around the edge and was able to get McCutcheon a first down. Looks like Joshua Woodard lost contain there, and the running back was able to successfully bounce it outside and get a first down. So McCutcheon, first down in 2 plays. Not a bad job. So Zionsville's really going to have to lock down here.
First down, McCutcheon at their own 25-yard line. I formation once again we're going to see. And I think Dino is actually split out this time. And the handoff is to the fullback as he tries to break some tackles. Lane Beeler gets a tough 2 yards, but a nice job there by the Zionsville defensive line. Actually, while we have a minute, let's run through that defensive line. Daniel McCullough is I'd say the biggest, or at least tallest figure on the defensive line. Listed at 6'7", 215. He plays left end. Noah Rogers and Connor Dahl, both seniors, they're in the middle. And Jake Romanek is the right defensive end. McCutcheon back to the line of scrimmage. Now we're going to see Marincek in the shotgun here. He looks, pump fakes. He's got Dino on a little underneath screen here. Dino tries to make something out of nothing and actually runs backwards and loses some yards. That's good for about a 4 or 5 yard loss. This will make it third and very long for McCutcheon.
Yeah, and that was a very good job. Looks like 87 Nick Maines was there to make the tackle. Looks like he got the nod to start at, well, he's coming out now, but he was in that play at the outside linebacker. And actually, I think Riley Pokerfack has a start on the left end at number 48, I believe.
All right. This will be third and long for McCutcheon in the shotgun once again. And Marincek gets the snap, and he looks. He can't find anyone. Finally finds a guy under the middle, but that's not going to be enough. A late flag comes in. Alex, that's usually in the area of a face mask or a personal foul.
Yeah, I think so, which is very unfortunate because Zionsville had him stopped on that third down. And, depending on what the call is, it's like ball.
Referees are conferring here to figure out the correct call. If they pick up the flag, it'd be fourth down McCutcheon.
It was a face mask, so.
Yep. So Zionsville shoots themselves in the foot. That'll move the ball up 15 yards and good for a first down. And Alex, those are the kind of penalties that can really kill you and wear you out on defense after you work hard to get a stop. And, a silly penalty at the end of the play is going to move him back.
Yeah, it's nothing worse when you see your guy make a tackle and stop him on third down and you look up, there's a penalty flag sitting right there on yourself. So it's not a good way to start. Zionsville's getting backed up right now.
I formation McCutcheon. The handoff is to Dino. He's stuffed at the lines. I saw Nick Maines get in there. He was wrapped up early, but Maines finished him off. I think we'll see both Nick Maines and Carter Spears split time at linebacker tonight. I've seen Nick Maines both come in, out, and now back into the ball game. So a little bit of more rotation from Zionsville's defense than we saw last year, or last game, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. And also I've seen number 40 in the game, also Noah Rogers, who's a senior. So it looks like they're going to mix it up a little bit with this defensive front line and get different people in there.
Noah Rogers, I think he might have started tonight. He started last week.
He's a nose tackle,
Nate
okay.
Dino runs around the left-hand side, and he'll be pushed out of bounds just inside of the first down marker. That'll make it a third and short McCutcheon, sitting at about third and 3 yards, 2 or 3 yards to go, Alex.
Yeah, and this is gut check time for Zionsville. The defense is getting a little tired, and it's 3rd and 2. McCutcheon's at their own 45 rather, and this is a good time for Zionsville to make a stop here.
Single back formation this time for McCutcheon. 4 wide receivers. We haven't seen them use a tight end yet. And the handoff is to their running back. I believe that's the fullback, Lane Beeler. And number 40, he's listed at 5'10", 210 pounds, and he looks like a solid runner out there, Alex.
He sure does. He puts his head down and was able to get about 4 yards right there, which is good enough for a first down. So McCutcheon's having a lot of success running the ball right now, and even when the quarterback's dropping back, he's getting a lot of protection. So, Zionsville's going to have to put some pressure on the front line and get him moving.
1st and 10, McCutcheon at their own 49. About 8.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. McCutcheon got a first down off of a late face mask call. Boot here by Marincic. He has to step up into a pocket, avoids a tackler, and finally throws the ball out of bounds. That's a nice job by Marincic to try to make something out of nothing. He had pressure, but a lot of times they don't want quarterbacks to force things, and that was a dead play. He did the right thing and threw the ball away.
Yeah, that's the senior for you right there. Making a really good decision. Just throw the ball away. Nothing's open. You're already on the run, scrambling. He's a senior, but a lot of quarterbacks in high school want to just try to force something in there and make something out of nothing. He was smart to throw that one away.
That was a coverage sack almost for Zionsville. We'll go through, actually, the next play is about to be run. It's 2nd and 10 McCutcheon. We'll go through the rest of the Zionsville defense after this play. Handoff right was to number 38, Blake Elming, the sophomore. He got back to about the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and long. Getting back to the Zionsville defense, we already introduced you to the defensive line. The defensive backs tonight, cornerback Tyler Glenn and cornerback Joshua Woodard will get the start. Jackson Schaefer, who Alex mentioned earlier, is playing free safety. He had 2 picks in the first game, and Ben Kotcher is the other safety. Linebackers are Scott Pinola, Jimmy Morrison, and as we said, we'll see a little bit of Carter Spear and Nick Maines rotating back and forth. So 3rd and long for the Mavericks. Shotgun, Marincic takes the snap, looks downfield. He's got a man underneath. I don't believe that'd be enough for the first down. He's going to be a couple yards short into Zionsville territory, and Alex, it looks like they're sending out the punt unit, so they're going to be okay with trying to pin Zionsville deep. I thought we might see a lot of times in high school football, you'll see these teams go for it as long as they're on the other side of the field. If it's 4th and short, you'll see them go for it, but they're going to punt it to John Nomchef, who's standing at his own 10-yard line.
Yeah, and as a coach, that shows a lot of confidence in your defense. They think they can pin Zionsville back and play the whole field position game with Zionsville right now, and we'll see if they can get a good punt here and pin them deep.
Flag thrown before the play. There was a lot of motion there by McCutcheon. That might be a delay. Is that a delay of game or a procedure?
It's a delay of game, and
depending on the leg of the punter, this could have been a good thing to give him more room to work with. So Nomchef will move up to his 15-yard line. Nomchef is Zionsville's best wide receiver, a dangerous special teams player as well. I think McCutcheon would be best to try to avoid kicking to him. It's a high kick, but it's short. Nomchef's going to field it. He just muffs the punt. McCutcheon looks like they have fallen on it. No, Zionsville. And a lucky break there for the Eagles as the punt was muffed by John Nomchef, the sure-handed receiver, and looked like a whole gang of McCutcheon defenders around the ball, but somehow or another, Zionsville was able to come up with the loose ball.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those plays where John Nomchef should have called a fair catch and just got underneath and catch it instead of trying to make something out of that punt. That's actually a very nice punt, really high, spiraled ball, and allowed the cover team to get down there and put pressure on John Nomchef. Luckily, Zionsville came away with the ball, and they'll have 1st and down at their own 23.
And single back formation for Zionsville. Cole Wint, the running back, Nomchef in motion. Handoff is to Cole Wint. He buries his head and he breaks it open. He's got a little bit of room. That's good for about a 15-yard gain there. And a great way to start it out. A big hole opened up by the Zionsville offensive line. Zionsville's offensive line's led by Austin Brewer, the senior. He was a 2 or maybe even a 3-year starter. We know he started last year. Eric Whiteholder is the other guard. Thomas Mattingly's at center. Your tackles are Zane Breach and Jacob Avon. Zionsville quickly huddles and gets back to the line of scrimmage. Motion this time by the fullback, Steven Wisniewski. Pitch to Cole Wint. He turns it upfield. And another nice gain of about 7 yards for Zionsville. Alex early. Zionsville moving the ball effectively on the ground.
Yeah, they sure are. Like you said, just finishing the offensive line. They're doing a fantastic job so far, blowing holes open for Cole Wint. Cole Wint, we talked about him a lot last week, how That's an impressive stat right there.
Zionsville this time in the I formation. Cole Wynn is still in the ball game. Sorry, I was trying to check. He gets another carry, good for another 5 yards to midfield. That'll be a first down Zionsville right at midfield at the 50-yard line. Getting back to the rest of the starting offense, Chris Mason and John Nomchef are listed at receiver. Carson Kennedy is the starting tight end. Parker Dunchey, the 3-year starter, senior at quarterback. Behind him is Steven Wisniewski, the fullback, and Cole Wynn, the tailback. A lot of seniors kind of littered on the Zionsville offense, Alex, and that's probably the biggest strength of the football team this year.
Absolutely. They're fun to watch. They really are.
I formation again, 1st and 10, Zionsville. Play action pass. It's deep to John Nomchef. He has to stop to catch it. A great adjustment by Nomchef after the ball was in the air. The first completion between Dunchey and Nomchef, a very talented duo. Good for about a 30-yard gain, about 26 yards actually. It'll be at the 24-yard line of McCutcheon.
Yeah, and as soon as Dunchey threw that ball, he kind of hung his head. He knew he underthrew John Nomchef, who had at least 5 yards on the cornerback, but nevertheless, a great grab. Nomchef came back and caught the ball at its highest point and was able to get a really nice gain for Zionsville. So Zionsville is really quickly at McCutcheon's 25-yard line.
1st and 10, Zionsville, threatening in McCutcheon territory. I formation, the handoff is to Cole Wynn. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle there. I'm trying to make out a number.
Looks like that was number 35 for
35.
McCutcheon. Let's see who that is. Looks like Matt Muncie. He's the outside linebacker. He's a senior. Real big guy, 6'1", 225. McCutcheon's got some big guys on their team, man. Their defensive line, 6'2", 280, 5'10", 240. So there's some big boys up there, and Zionsville's going to have their work cut out for them to push them around.
So no gain there. It'll be 2nd and 10, Zionsville, still at the McCutcheon 24. About 4 minutes left to go in the quarter. This is the opening quarter of the game. A punt first by McCutcheon, and Zionsville has had a nice drive thus far down the field. Handoff to Cole Wynn. He's got some running room, following his blockers and barreling over a defender deep into McCutcheon territory, down about the 6 or 7 yard line. It'll be 1st and goal, Zionsville.
Man, I love that run by Cole Wynn. He was super patient. As soon as he got to the second level, great downfield blocking by, I think it was the fullback who went in motion. That was, looks like Steven Wisniewski, and he just basically grabbed onto the back of Wisniewski and followed him up there and was able to get another 12, 15-yard run. So Zionsville's having a lot of success on the ground and in the air so far.
For those of you who missed our broadcast last week, we were very impressed with Cole Wynn. He has 144 rushing yards on the ground against Lafayette Jets. This time a hard count by Parker Dunchey. It'll get the linebacker to jump. That was number 44 for McCutcheon. That's the middle linebacker, Caleb Harper, as he was coming hard and bit on the hard count. That'll give Zionsville another 5 yards and move him down to about the 2 or 3 yard line. So we're going to essentially be looking at, we're in 2-point conversion territory now, and that never helps when you're already giving up 1st and goal to even shorten the field for Zionsville.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was a great job by Parker, senior leader, who sees that they're going to blitz and decides to do a hard count right there and got McCutcheon to jump, and McCutcheon was absolutely bringing the house right there.
1st and goal, Zionsville from about the 3 yard line. Single back this time with Cole Wynn in the backfield. Handoff is to Cole on his left-hand side. He breaks an arm tackle, and I thought he extended into the end zone. That's a questionable call by the referees. They'll put the ball down at about the half-a-foot line, and Zionsville will have to run the play again.
Yeah, and Cole Wynn last week had a great rushing game, but did not have a touchdown, so I expect they'll go right back to him and give him his first touchdown this year. Strong runner. He's pretty much been the bulk of Zionsville's yards this series, and I expect they give it right back to him. Zionsville likes to come out in that double tight when they're on the goal line and try to open some extra holes up on the outside.
I formation this time for Zionsville. And the handoff is to Wisniewski, the fullback. He barrels into the end zone. Zionsville takes a 6-0 lead here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it took a little bit longer to get a touchdown this week than last, right, partner? Last week they scored really, really quickly and were able to punch it in. But great drive by Zionsville. lot of runs, a couple passes. So very nice job. Great. It goes.
The extra point is up and good, which was a rarity last week, as I believe we counted 3 missed extra points last week. And the kicker, who was the kicker this time, Alex? Was that 99?
It looks like 96. Looks like Jake Watkins.
Okay, so Jake Watkins took the extra point, and we had Jack Grider on the kickoffs.
And Jake Watkins is the lone freshman on the Zionsville varsity team, so good for him to get in there and get some kicks. So you sometimes see a lot of freshman kickers and
Sure.
with big legs, sometimes soccer players who come over and just can really extend the play out by kicking it far.
With the made extra point, Zionsville extends its lead to 7-0. We have 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and a nice way to open the game for Zionsville, getting a stop on defense, marching the ball down the field, and getting a score. So we'll see how the last kickoff was great, I thought, by Grider. With the guy, with a returner like Dino, you want to push him back about as deep as possible, and if not, kick away from him.
Yeah, you have to. It's one or the other. Either kick it deep into the end zone or kick away from Dino. And last time Dino pretty much got the ball on the 2-yard line and wasn't able to get much because Zionsville's coverage team was down there in his face. It was a really good high kick, too.
And the kick by Grider, once again inside the 5-yard line. So a nice kick as Dino tries to look for some room.
Nice tackle.
Another nice coverage play by Zionsville. Looks like
that was number 25, Ryan Connor, 6'4", 220 senior. He's been in a lot of plays.
I think we actually saw him kick once or twice last game.
Sure did.
Zionsville, once again, McCutcheon will start inside their own 20. Nice run there by the other running back besides Deno. That's Blake Elming, the sophomore we spoke of earlier. 5'7", 140, but gets around the edges quick. Actually broke out of a tackle there, so doesn't run soft, even though he's undersized running back probably in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. But running back that size has a very good tendency to try to bounce the ball outside, and he tried to do there, and he got 4 yards. So successful run so far by McCutcheon. They have a great line and are able to make good plays here. And the fullback looks like that's number 40, Lane Beeler, and about 2 yards, 1 yard maybe. It actually looks like he lost a yard, so McCutcheon will have 3rd and long again. Zionsville would love to get out here after they score and get a 3 and out and give the ball back to the offense, give them the ability to, have a chance to score, but we'll see what McCutcheon does here on 3rd and long.
3rd and long, McCutcheon, Marincic in the shotgun now. The fullback back with him, that's Lane Beeler, the junior. Matt Marincic takes the snap, looks downfield. He's got a man. That's Deno. He cuts it outside, looking for more running room. Still fooling Zionsville defenders. A nice run after the catch there. Good for about 20, 25 yards near midfield, out to about the 46-yard line.
And that was a great job by Marincic right there. He read that there was a blitz and had a hot route right there with Nate Dino, his best receiver, and he wasn't really covered and was able to just do a quick one-step drop and hit Dino on the run. And Dino, a great run after the catch. A couple wiggles and got outside and was able to get to about the 45-yard line. So very good job. McCutcheon once again is moving the ball.
So we're going to see Nate line up as a slot receiver and as a running back pretty often tonight. I think they're just going to move him around, and I think that's smart of the coaching staff and Ken Frauheiger to try to get your best player the ball as many different ways as possible.
Absolutely.
You see they have him returning kicks as well. This time Marincic hands the ball off to him. He's looking for running room, and boy, he is fast getting around the corner. Gets pushed out of bounds right at the 1st down marker. And we'll see if the referees give him the 1st down or not. It looks like they're going to mark him short, though. But it'll be 2nd and short McCutcheon, and they're back into Zionsville territory.
Absolutely, and McCutcheon's having no problem breaking the contain of Zionsville's defensive ends and getting outside for an extra few yards. Like we talked about, Deno as Zionsville takes a timeout here. Dino's super fast, so you got to really push him inside and make him try to fight off tackles as opposed to getting outside and being free to run.
Yeah, Zionsville's defense will take a timeout. 24 seconds left in the quarter. Zionsville leads 7-0. McCutcheon will have 2nd and 2 when they come back at the Zionsville 46-yard line. And Alex, McCutcheon got about to this point last time, and I'm just wondering, do you agree with the play calling Ken Frauheiger's putting together to try to get them down the field? I mean, I like the first drive a lot, even though they were helped out by that Zionsville penalty.
I like both drives. Right now they're moving the ball very well, and their best player, Nate Dino, like you said, they're spreading him out to different locations, and it's making the defense have to key on that one guy, and they're able to give it to the other running back who we've been talking about, Blake Elming, who's a sophomore, who's very fast himself. So, taking your best player and moving him around and putting him in different positions opens up different runs and different people to give the ball to. And it looks like there's about 24 seconds on the game clock.
And it'll be 2nd and 2, McCutcheon. Marincek under center. Beeler, the fullback, is the lone back. The handoff is to Beeler. He barrels forward for a 3-yard gain, good for a first down, McCutcheon.
And McCutcheon won. Whatever hour. And McCutcheon once again gets another first down with their big fullback, Lane Beeler. And pretty much every time he gets the ball, he's getting 1 or 2 yards, even 3 yards. So, Zionsville's really going to have to figure out how to stop him from getting those short second and shorts and 3rd and shorts. And it looks like McCutcheon's going to let the quarter wind down. And at the end of the first quarter, it's going to be Zionsville 7, McCutcheon 0. And, McCutcheon's really hanging in there. They really got blown out last week by Brownsburg, and Zionsville had a really good game against Lafayette Jeff. So I'm very impressed with McCutcheon's ability to come out here, move the ball. The first drive Zionsville had, they scored on. But, that says something about Zionsville, too. Zionsville is a team that goes out there and, those long drives. They've only had 1 drive in the entire first quarter, and McCutcheon's only had 2. So, the way these teams run the ball, the quarter just winds and winds and winds.
So taking over, I kind of piggyback off of what Alex was saying. I thought both teams played an exceptional first quarter. I thought both teams played about their best game. I mean, I'm sure, to be nitpicky, I'm sure Zionsville would have liked to have played better on defense and given up less first downs, less yards. I'm sure they'd like to have back the silly penalty, but all in all, low penalties the first quarter, low amount of mistakes. I thought just some really good plays by both offenses and both the skill players.
Yeah, usually week 2 is when both teams will work out all the kinks they had from the weirdness that happens in week 1, and both teams have been able to move the ball. Zionsville, of course, scored on their first drive, and McCutcheon's definitely on the move here, so Zionsville's really going to have to see what they can do here.
Shotgun for Marincek. He faked. No, he does hand it off to Deno, and he breaks it open, and I don't think anyone's going to catch him.
But there is a penalty on the play, and it looks like it might be holding, so this one could be coming back for sure.
That's as it stands now. It's a 46-yard touchdown. A little bit of trickery in the backfield there by McCutcheon, but as Alex stated, it looks like it will come back for a holding call. And that's a huge penalty right there, erasing a 46-yard touchdown. If you give Nate Deno any space, he can run away with it in a hurry.
He sure does. He has that breakaway speed, and it's kind of a difference between it's either a penalty or a touchdown. So if that penalty doesn't happen, there's not a possibility that would have been a touchdown if that block didn't happen. So pretty good job by Zionsville, but nice hole opened up there for Deno. Like you said, he is crazy fast. He just got to that second level in a hurry.
So it'll be 1st and 20 now for McCutcheon. And they move the ball back, so that pushes them back onto their own side of the field. The ball's placed at McCutcheon's own 47-yard line. Marincek in the shotgun again. And they started the game out with a few I formation plays, but ever since we've seen a lot of shotgun. Another underneath pass. This time it's sniffed out by number 26, Scotty Pinola, the linebacker. And he's kind of the heart and soul of this defense as Nate Deno is slow to get up.
Yeah, that was a great play by Scott Pinola right there. They tried to run that play earlier. It's kind of a slip screen to their best player, Nate Dino, and the way that Zionsville keys on those men, like that are a good player for each team, they pretty much have an assignment. One guy's going to stay on him the whole time. So very good job by Scott Panola to make that tackle in the open field and prevent there could have been a long play.
Andrew Norman, number 59, checks in the ball game for Zionsville at defensive end. So we continue to see a strong rotation of defensive linemen for Zionsville. This time Marincek gets his pass off. He's stopped again by Scott Panola just before midfield. That pass was complete to number 3, Josh Costin. And Alex, I don't know if you remember that. I think I remember him from last year when we covered a couple of McCutcheon games last year, I think. And Josh Costin was a main target for Marincek then too. So just like Zionsville has a few of their biggest playmakers on offense back, McCutcheon does as well.
Absolutely. Josh Costin, 6'3", 200-pound senior. He's a big guy, and like you said, he was a big target for Marincek last year and had a lot of yards and touchdowns.
Third down and very long. Third and about 17 for McCutcheon. Ball is placed right at the 50-yard line. Marincek looks downfield. He's trying to scramble. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Finally chased out of bounds by number 40 for Zionsville. That was Noah Rogers, the defensive tackle, getting after him. And McCutcheon once again gets right across midfield and moves backward and is going to be forced to punt. So McCutcheon shooting themselves in the foot. That'll give Zionsville back the ball, and we'll see if John Nomchef has a little bit better luck fielding the punt this time. Last time a near scare for Zionsville.
Yeah, absolutely. And and just another penalty that really kills you. Those long penalties that negates a touchdown or a third down stop. But nevertheless, Zionsville will get the ball back, and like you said, let's see if John Nomchef can maybe get a little return here.
And the ball is up in the air. Another short kick. This time, Wisely takes the fair catch, so Zionsville will take over at their own 24-yard line. And Cole Went marches out there again. A couple nice runs by Cole on that first drive. Nice mix of running. Well, there was only one passing play on the whole first drive, right? So just when we thought Zionsville might keep opening it up like they did last week, this week they come back with the run. Traditional Zionsville, as we've seen before, even back through our playing days.
Absolutely.
In the dark ages.
Yeah. Zionsville really likes to rely on the run, and I don't expect them to change at all under Coach Mack. We have a great offensive line and are able to open up holes, so why not keep running the ball?
A botched snap as Parker Dunshee throws deep. He's got a man. Oh, that was Chris Mason going up to make a play on the ball. A nice defensive play there by McCutcheon. That was number 33 for McCutcheon, Kyle Brewer, the senior safety.
Yeah, and that's one of those scary passes that, the guy was open, but to throw across your body on the run and down the field about 35 yards, that's a tough throw to make, and it was a little underthrown. Chris Mason did have a chance of it, but like you said, great defensive play, and the defensive back was able to go in there and break up the ball before it was caught. So nice job by McCutcheon right there.
Mason had to stop and come back to the ball, went up for it, much like he did last week, but he found the end zone. So with these tall receivers, I don't think Parker's afraid to throw it up in the air and let him go get it. As a nice little short run there by Cole Went. Looks like he caught a hand on his face mask there, and that'll be a penalty on McCutcheon, we believe.
Absolutely, yeah. Good run. Actually, it was a really good tackle. Just the way Cole Went has his head down and buries his head down there, it's hard not to get your hand on his face mask. So nice run and just unfortunate penalty for McCutcheon right there.
Waiting for the referees to make the call on the field, and they do. That'll be a 15-yard penalty, moving the ball up. And that'll take Zionsville's offense up to the 44-yard line. So that's a big penalty against McCutcheon. It's a very big penalty,
especially when you're moving the ball this well and your defense is out there getting a little tired after these long sustained drives. To have a 15-yard penalty is not what you want to have.
No penalties are ever good, but the personal foul variety are exceptionally bad.
Absolutely.
Single back this time. Cole Went gets the ball, looks for running room, but he's stopped after a short gain. About 2 yards on the carry by Cole. Nice play on McCutcheon's defense. I believe that was 44, Caleb Harper getting back there.
Yeah, he's a 5'11", 190 junior, and pretty much submarine into Cole Went's legs. It's probably the easiest way to take down that big runner, Cole Went, and great job by the middle linebacker to get in there and make that tackle and only give him a 3-yard gain.
Single back once again for Zionsville, as we've seen more than we have already seen last week. John Nomchef to the bottom of your screen if you're watching at home. 3-step drop. He hits Nomchef on a quick slant. Really not horrible coverage there by the corner, in my opinion, but when you have a runner that runs routes so tight and then a quarterback that has such great chemistry with him, it's hard to stop those quick routes.
Absolutely, and that's the route that John Nomchef ran all last week and was so successful out of those slants to get in that second level. And last week the corners weren't as tight on the receivers as they are tonight, so that was actually pretty good coverage by McCutcheon right there.
So it'll be 3rd and 2 for Zionsville, just inside of McCutcheon territory. Once again in the single back, this time with 3 wide receivers. Cole Went the tailback. 3-step drop again for Parker. Looks and found a man. Really a great defensive play there by number 22 for McCutcheon. That is Alex Nickerson, 5'8", 160-pound junior defensive back. He closed in a hurry on the open receiver for Zionsville.
Yeah, and he timed that one up perfectly. If he was a little bit sooner, that probably would have been a pass interference. But looks like Parker Dungy never really had a grip on that ball, and it kind of put it out there. But kind of a scary throw. That corner could have jumped in there and picked that off, and he was off to the races if he did.
It was a scary throw. It was intended for number 1, Avery Boxell. He checks back out of the game. And Zionsville looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th and 2. Single back again. Cole Went. The pitch to Cole. And I don't think he made it, Alex. I think he got about 1.5 yards and missed it. I don't even know if they'll take the time to measure this one.
Yeah, I think he's short by about 1 yard. And what do you think about that play call right there? A pitch on a 4th and 3?
Well, I think just the call in general to go for it, as we talked about earlier, McCutcheon had a very similar situation. They elected to punt the ball away. Nomchef almost fumbled he did botch the punt, but Zionsville got it back. But as we were talking about earlier, it showed a lot of confidence in their defense, and maybe rather than a lack of confidence in the defense, maybe Zionsville just felt great about their offense, and I don't blame him. Cole Went had been picking up 3-4 yards a carry each time so far this game.
Yeah, they've had success on the ground all game so far, and looks like they did not get the first down. So McCutcheon, really nice momentum shift for McCutcheon. We talked about momentum a lot last week, and not as many turnovers, actually 0 turnovers except for this turnover on down this week. And it plays a big part is when you turn the ball over and give the other team a chance to take the ball back.
So McCutcheon takes over, and they'll have a short field to work with as they take over on their own 47-yard line. Back to the I formation for McCutcheon with Beeler, the fullback, and Nate Dino, the tailback, behind him. And the carry, it's actually not Dino. The carry was to Blake Elming. Beg your pardon. Dino was the slot receiver there. A nice tackle for Zionsville. Did you catch the number on that, Alex?
I sure did. That was Ben Kocher, the junior, 6'3", 185, and he came up and made a real good lick on that running back. That was a great tackle. He pretty much stopped him in his tracks, and running back went straight down to the ground. So nice play right there after a 5-yard gain.
5-yard gain, McCutcheon into Zionsville territory. 2nd and 5, just under 8 minutes to go in the half. The handoff this time, again, is to Blake Elming, but he is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage or right at the line of scrimmage. That was Scotty Panola, the linebacker, number 26. And, Alex, we don't have a lot of time usually to, call out every defensive play, but from sitting up here, it's obvious that Scott Panola is all over the field.
Yeah, and the coaches rave about this kid. He's got a great nose for the ball, is always in the right place, makes great tackles, wraps up, and right there, he came in a hurry. I mean, he's 6'4", 220, and it's a big kid for a linebacker.
Yes, it is. And McCutcheon to the single back. The lone back is Lane Beeler, the fullback. Morensic under center, 3-step drop, looks quickly. The ball was thrown behind his target, and he almost caught it, but I believe dropped it on the way down. That was also intended for Josh Costin. And that was another scary pass, Alex, but it almost worked out.
Sure was, as McCutcheon brings their punting unit on. A very successful defensive stand right there by Zionsville to force 3 and out after turnover on downs. And, I think that ball should have been caught for a first down. The receiver jumped up when he probably didn't have to, and, probably should have came down with that. That was that senior we were talking about, the receiver. Josh Costin usually has sure hands, but right there was unable to bring that one in. And
McCutcheon will punt again. John Nomchef stands at his own 15. This time it looks like he'll get a chance to field and return the kick. He looks for some room, but really a nice tackle as he's wrapped up around the ankles down at his own 10-yard line.
That was a great tackle by number 20 for McCutcheon, Ross Wishman. He's 5'10", 156 junior. And, that was a really good play. He got down there, was not beat by that first move by John Nonchef. So great job by McCutcheon pinning Zionsville within their own 10-yard line. So Zionsville's got their work cut out for them with about 90 yards to go in 6.5 or about 7 minutes in the second quarter.
Parker Dunshee will have a long field to work with. This time Avery Boxell and John Nonchef are your receivers. Boxell's to the bottom of your screen, the short side of the field. Zionsville's back in the I formation with Wisniewski and Cole Wint. Parker Dunshee hands the ball off to Wint, and he breaks through a tackle, and a flag is thrown. That's in the variety of, it could be a holding, but there was a high tackler there that might have got a piece of the face mask. And let me see here. That wasn't Cole Wint. That was Colton Smith that had checked in the ball game.
Yeah, pretty good run by Colton Smith to get in there. He had a few good runs. It looks like the indication is a holding on Zionsville, so they were at their 9-yard line, and I guess it's going to be backed up to about their 5. So, well, I guess it was a spot foul. Looks like they're going to mark it about the 7-yard line.
So it'll be 1st and 13, Zionsville at their own 7. Excuse the confusion. Colton Smith, the backup tailback, and Cole Wint, both listed at 5'7", one at 179, one at 173. They have very similar running styles, so easily confused from up here in the press box. Single back this time for Zionsville. 3-step drop, and Parker has a man. The receiver helped him out a little bit. That was Avery Boxell with a ridiculous catch there on the sideline.
Yeah, that'll be on the highlight reel for sure. That was an extended catch. Put his hands out, dove for the ball. Great catch. That's a very good play right there when it was 1st and long, and Zionsville's back to 2nd and manageable, about 2nd and 5. So very nice job.
Wisniewski checks into the ball game, and Chris Mason checks in for Boxell. We'll have double tight ends for Zionsville. Wisniewski is lined up as a tight end. The handoff, no, it's a play-action boot play. And the catch is made by Chris Mason at about the 25-yard line. Nice play there by Zionsville, and a good play fake carried out by Parker Dunshee.
Very good play fake right there, and that was a great pass, great read. Had the receiver coming across the field on a drag and was able to hit him. And first down for Zionsville. So after that penalty on first down, Zionsville was able to get a nice little drive going here and get that first down.
First down, Zionsville at their own 24-yard line. I formation this time as Parker signals to his receivers. He goes back under center. And it's a play action. He's looking deep. The ball is tipped and picked off. That'll be the first interception of the year thrown by Parker Dunshee. Number 22 for McCutcheon with the interception. I'm trying to find the number here. Yeah, that's Alex Nixon, who we described earlier.
Yeah, just throws a little bit high, and looks like that was the tight end for Zionsville. Carson Kennedy was unable to bring that one in, and the ball just tipped up off his helmet. Really good throw. It was a pretty strong throw. It shows kind of how hard Parker Dunshee can throw the ball right there, but tip ball, and good job by McCutcheon's defensive back to get up and get that ball.
And I thought he had another receiver deep, and he went with the underneath route, and it was tipped up, and Nonchef actually had a chance to catch it. As McCutcheon runs a play, it's a handoff to the left side. Blake Elming on the carry, just back to the original line of scrimmage. Going back to the interception, Alex, I thought Nonchef was going to catch it off the tip, but a very nice play there by Alex Nixon for McCutcheon. He's the junior cornerback, as I mentioned earlier, with a nice tackle as well.
Yeah, he's had a very good game so far. That interception, defensive backs love a gift where they get to catch a ball off a tip, but it almost looked like Parker Dunshee might have been going to John Nonchef the whole way, and Carson Kennedy tried to jump up and grab it, but nevertheless, McCutcheon has second down here.
And a fake handoff. Marincek is surrounded, and Zionsville finally gets back to the quarterback. Number 11 for Zionsville bounced up first. That was Jake Romanek, the defensive end, but that was kind of a jailbreak on that play, as there was 3 or 4 Zionsville defenders in the backfield, and I think they'll probably credit Romanek with the sack. Sometimes the first player to jump up and celebrate will get the credit there.
That's right, absolutely. And I think that's actually Zionsville's defense's first sack. They didn't have a sack last week against Lafayette Jeff, as the quarterback was just too fast and got away from everything.
3rd and 20, McCutcheon, and this will be another sack. Another sack by Jake Romanek, and he is feeling it right now. Marincic, unfortunately, is slow getting up on the play. Actually, he tried to get up and fell back down, so we're going to take a timeout here. I believe the trainers are going to come out and tend to Matt Marincic. You hate to see that.
And I think he got his bell rung pretty hard when he got whipped down to the ground. He hit his head on the ground pretty hard, and he tried to get up and kind of stumbled. I think he had some stars twirling around his head. I hope he doesn't have a concussion, but it doesn't look good as far as how he tried to get up and couldn't move.
Yeah, the trainer is talking to him now. Hopefully he's okay. Matt Marincic, as we stated, started last year. He's the senior quarterback and the leader of this McCutcheon football team.
It looks like he's going to get up, but you never know with these concussions. He tried to get up and just kind of stumbled right back to the ground, so I hope he's okay.
Matt Marincic gets a round of applause from the Zionsville crowd as he is walking off the field under his own power, so hopefully he'll be able to make it back into the ball game relatively soon. McCutcheon's going to be forced to punt here, as they're staring at about a 4th and 30 at this point.
Yeah, and that was a great defensive stand once again for Zionsville. Zionsville starting to feel it on defense, starting to put some pressure on the quarterback, and I think they've made some adjustments on the sidelines when the offense is in the game to shut down Dino with this run attack, and also Marincic as the quarterback. So, yeah, McCutcheon's absolutely going to punt here, and this is when they're punting from their own, looks like 34-yard line. This is a great chance for a return right here.
Nomchef should have some room if the kick is deep enough. Zionsville's defense came out a lot more aggressive that series. And Nomchef is going to call for a fair catch, and that's a responsible play there by John Nomchef, especially after the botched punt return earlier in the ball game.
Yeah, I think he did.
For about 2 yards, so it'll be 3rd and 3 or 4 yards for Zionsville as the clock continues to tick on this first half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see once they get under that 2-minute mark, as Zionsville kind of speed up their play calling and how they move the ball. I'm sure they will. But this is a big 3rd down for both sides.
Heck of a play to catch it and come down in bounds. The ball was thrown high. Had the ball been thrown a little lower, he would have had a chance to. He had one defender in front of him, and how many times have we seen John burn a defender at the drop of a hat?
Yeah, absolutely. He has that ability to cut inside and make a big play out of that. And yeah, like you said, Dunshee kind of put a little bit of air underneath that ball. It's a long throw from the right hash all the way to the left sideline, but great job by Nomchef to come down and tiptoe before he went out of bounds.
High formation for Zionsville. 2 minutes left in the half. The handoff is to Colton Smith. He finds running room. Now turns the corner down the sideline. Pushed out of bounds inside the McCutcheon 30. Finally pushed out of bounds by number 24, Shannon Harris. But not after a nice 20-yard run there by Colton Smith. And Alex, ever since Cole Went came up short on that 4th down try, Colton Smith has been taking the carries.
Yeah, he sure has, and I think the difference between Colton Smith and Cole Went, I think Colton Smith might have a little bit more speed than that of Cole Went. They both have pretty close to the same running style, low to the ground, carry the ball high and get through the holes, but, it looks like Colton Smith has that little bit of that breakaway speed on the outside like he just showed right there. And, you got to give credit to Zionsville line up at the front. They're really, really getting a good push and good holes are opening up for them. And it's going to pay dividends in the second half when they're able to do a play-action fake off these good runs and, throw the ball down the field. It looks like John Nomchef probably isn't going to have as much trouble against the secondary as he's had in this first half and the second half. But, we'll see how they do. Zionsville's really got to get on the board here. I expected a much bigger blowout in the first half from Zionsville, but it looks like McCutcheon's here to play.
Well, I expected a more aggressive game plan by Zionsville on offense like we saw last week. Not that there's anything wrong with it. They've been conservative tonight. They've run the ball, and they haven't really opened up the playbook as much as I think we saw 5 straight passes last week from Parker Dunshee when they opened up against Jeff. But the coaches know what they're doing. Different schemes for different games, and obviously they're working on taking a 2-score lead here going into the half, and they give the ball back at halftime. So
yeah, and like you were saying, different schemes for different games, and they probably watched the film with McCutcheon against Brownsburg last week and saw that, Brownsburg can really run the ball on them, so why not try here, right?
Sure thing as Colton Smith gets another carry. Good for about 5 yards to the McCutcheon 25-yard line as we're under 2 minutes. Zionsville with the 7-0 lead, trying to add on to that lead before halftime. We have 3 wide receivers in the game this time. Avery Boxall and Chris Mason to the top of your screen. Colton Smith, the running back. John Nomchef down at the bottom. Handoff is to Colton Smith again. This time he's wrapped up and brought down after about a 2-yard gain. So it'll be 3rd and about 3 or 4 yards to go for Zionsville.
And as that clock continues to run here, once they get this first down, I think it's go time. You got to start playing the clock more. Big 3rd down. Do you expect Zionsville tries to kick a field goal if they don't get this 3rd down here?
I think they obviously would like a touchdown and maybe go for it. It just depends on how confident they feel in their kicking game. After the missed extra points last week, I would be questioning it. But it doesn't look like they'll have to as Cole Went back in the ball game, picks up the first down after about a 4 or 5 yard gain. So Zionsville methodically marching down, but the clock continues to tick. We're under a minute left in the first half of this game.
Yeah, and I honestly expect they're going to try to throw one up to John Nomchef in the corner of the end zone against a shorter corner, or even Chris Mason or Avery Boxall.
Zionsville taking their time up to the line, under 40 seconds now, and another pitch play, this time to Cole Went, and he fights forward for more yards. Clock now, okay, Zionsville will now take a timeout with 31 seconds remaining in the half. And I think that was their second timeout taken, so they have one left, but I thought they would have tried to conserve a little bit of clock there towards the end of the half. Just, you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. With only one more timeout, you really got to go here. You only get one more first down before you're in 1st and goal. But, I looked down and saw a familiar thing that you're probably used to. I looked down and number 66, Jacob Avon, is laying on top of a defender with his arms out like an airplane. Looks like he got himself a pancake and is kind of humiliating the defensive back or defensive man right there. It's funny.
The old airplane. Most people wouldn't know watching at home because how many people really sit and watch the offensive line, but the airplane is the ultimate in your face. That's a good way to put it. The ultimate in your face for an offensive lineman. If you put a defensive lineman on their back, you sprawl out and lay on them and ride like an airplane.
That's funny.
And it makes for great laughs the next morning on film, especially in front of all the guys. Well, I mean, we don't score touchdowns, so everyone gets to have like a little bit of a touchdown celebration, and that's our celebration.
Absolutely, I think it's great.
It's
you
very.
Get up and you put your hands on the chest of the defender, and you get yourself up by pushing down on him.
Yeah. Just watching the competitiveness of the offensive and defensive line for both teams is always a treat for me. So 30 seconds, and Parker has to scramble.
Move.
He's got all the time in the world. He'll run in for a touchdown, and a great play by Parker Dunshee, the quarterback. Second touchdown for Zionsville. That is his second touchdown rushing in as many weeks. He had a rushing touchdown last week that looked eerily similar.
Absolutely, and you know what? It's unfortunate for McCutcheon because they had that play snuffed out great. They actually put a blitz on this side, on the close side of the field. Had two guys right in Parker Dunshee's face. They didn't bite on the fake, but Parker Dunshee was able to take it and just go right up the middle and pretty much walk into the end zone. Very athletic kid, pretty fast too.
The extra point is up and good, so Zionsville will take a 14-0 lead with 25 seconds left in the first half, and they look to get the ball back after halftime, so there's going to have to be quite a pep talk in the McCutcheon locker room, because if you come out in the second half and allow another touchdown, then you're really looking at an uphill battle.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see if Marincic comes in before halftime. Only 25 seconds left. You can't really, not a lot of time to do anything, so I wonder if McCutcheon just takes a knee and goes into halftime to make corrections, or if Marincic's healthy enough to come out there to try to get down the field in 25 seconds. You can't count out Nate Dino at this point, too, with the kick return.
And looking at the kicker now for Zionsville, this looks like 95 Jack Ryder again. Okay, we saw him earlier. Had trouble keeping up with the kickers so far just in this short season for Zionsville. Seems like they use about 4, and they use a different kicker for each aspect.
They did that last year, and up here 95 looks just like 96 or 98, and it's hard to see. For some reason, they put the kickers in the 90s.
And Parker does the punting for the team. Nate Dino will take this kick and look for some room, and he's tripped up. A really nice job with a dangerous returner for Zionsville's kick coverage team tonight. I thought they've done an exceptional job, especially after last week where they gave up some bigger returns to Lafayette Jefferson. Really can't say enough about the first half of special teams for Zionsville. They've shored things up. Besides that, the botched punt return, they really shored some things up here this week.
Absolutely, and you have to expect that from Zionsville. They're a very disciplined coaching staff, and if you have area issues, they're going to correct those, or you're going to get replaced pretty much. And they might have replaced a couple guys in that kickoff return team, and have other guys a chance to get down there and do their job. And looks like McCutcheon is going to take that knee and go into halftime with a 14-0 deficit.
Did you see if Marincic took the snap?
I did not.
I'd be interested to see. We'll try to get that to you real quick before the half.
No, it looks like it was number 10. Looks like that was the... Well, he is not listed as the backup on the depth chart, but it looks like that was number 10, Jamie Fryer. He's 5'7", 145 sophomore, so
we'll look out for that after halftime
absolutely.
And see if Marincic comes back in the ball game. Until then, we're going to take a break at half. Zionsville leads 14-0 over McCutcheon. We're back here for the second half from Zionsville as they'll receive. They won the toss to start the game and elected to defer. This will be the first kickoff return of the night. John Nomchef is back to return the kick. Back with him is that Avery? No, that's not Avery Boxell, is it, Alex?
I think it's Colton Smith, number 4. He did it last week as well.
Yeah, you're right.
But we'll see. Both guys definitely scary return men, so we'll see who they decide to kick to here.
Had kind of an elongated halftime here at Zionsville tonight with Eagle Fest and everything. They had a tribute ceremony to a past coach and then an extended marching band period. But the kick is underway. John Nomchef takes it out of his own end zone, and he finds some room. A penalty flag is thrown, but John takes it past midfield. Nomchef into McCutcheon territory down to their 47-yard line, but I would imagine this comes back as the flag was thrown back in Zionsville territory.
Yeah, there were a couple flags flown, but flags thrown. I wish we had instant replay here because I think it was Colton Smith came up and absolutely laid out someone. It might have been the kicker, but he blew open that hole, and John Nomchef was able to get through there and have a nice little return there. But we'll see what the indication is and what the flag is.
It could be offsetting penalties.
Perhaps, yeah, maybe.
We're taking a while to talk about it. There's a personal foul against McCutcheon.
Yeah, that'll be on McCutcheon. I don't know what for.
And now they're pointing Zionsville's direction, so it could be an offset.
Yeah, in a situation right there where they offset, do you bring the ball up or do you re-kick?
Well, the holding call, if it's a holding, it's a spot foul, and then the personal foul, I believe, would be after the play.
Both flags are flown.
Be completely honest, I'm not sure. We're just going to have to wait for the referees to play this one out for us
we
here.
always try to guess here and see what it is, and we're actually usually wrong. But
okay, there's the holding on Zionsville. The ref is moving the ball back, and then there's the personal foul on McCutcheon.
It'll be interesting to see where they place the ball.
What I think they're going to do is they're going to mark off the 15-yard personal foul from the spot of the holding call. So the hold was at about the Zionsville.
So they'll go back 10 yards and they'll move forward 15. Are they going to actually count that out, or is it just a net 5 yards? I don't. And here he comes back to do 15.
I don't think they needed to do that. I think basic subtraction would have worked. But nonetheless, the referees put on a little show for us up here in the press box, and
walk back 10 yards and back forward 15 instead of just walking forward 5. So that's funny.
Yeah, good stuff up here. Anyways, the ball is finally placed at Zionsville's own 36-yard line, so we can get the second half underway. Single back formation for Zionsville. Parker Dunchie under center. Dunchie looks quick. It's a low throw. Ball is caught by Boxell, and he has a nice little nifty run after the catch. That'll be good for an 8-yard gain out to the 45-yard line of Zionsville.
Yeah, and at halftime we talked to one of the coaches, and they said that Zionsville was going to get out here, do a quick drive, go up 21-0, and give himself some room, go 3 and out, and try to extend this lead a little bit. Of course, every coach, wants their team to go up 21-0 and get a stop right away. But, we expect Zionsville to come out here and make a move down this field and score pretty quickly.
We expect to see an aggressive drive here. I know Zionsville wants to add this third touchdown and add to their lead. Wisniewski checks into the ballgame as the fullback. I formation now for Zionsville is a nice play there by a couple of McCutcheon defenders will, I think, bring the running back, Cole Went, down at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 3rd and 1 for Zionsville from their own 40. Let's see, where is the ball placed? The 46-yard line.
And it looks like Zionsville's kind of struggled tonight on those 3rd and 1, 2nd and 2, those short down situations where, Zionsville's usually good at the fullback dive or the give it to the tailback and let him go up the field. But tonight McCutcheon's had a really good job on these short downage.
Well, that's on the Zionsville offensive line there. I mean, give McCutcheon credit for a push as they get another push, and Cole Went is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage this time. He'll actually lose a yard, and Zionsville's punt unit will come onto the field, and just as you were talking about, had some trouble in short yardage situations, and I mean, that's the offensive line right there. You got to get a push and get a yard.
Yeah, and like you said, great job on McCutcheon right there. Zionsville's going to punt it away. Not what the coaches wanted to go out and do, 3 and out, but, when it's good defense, what can you do?
And Zionsville, Parker Dunchie, the quarterback, will step back as the punter as he's ready to take the snap at about his own 30-yard line. There's 2 returners set back for McCutcheon. A nice high punt up in the air, fair catch by McCutcheon at their own 21-yard line. So a small victory from McCutcheon to start the second half at a really crucial time in the ball game where Zionsville has the opportunity to go up 3 scores to get a stop and get the ball back. That's huge. Now it's on their offense to move forward and try to put some points on the board here.
Absolutely. It's only a 2-possession game right now, and McCutcheon did a really good job on those 2nd and short, 3rd and short, and to force Zionsville into a punt. It's only the 2nd time Zionsville's punted tonight, or maybe even the 1st time. But, McCutcheon can really get out here and move the ball. It looks like Marincek may not be in the game anymore.
Marincek is not in the game. We have 4 wide receivers here, single back set for McCutcheon. The handoff is to their fullback. He's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. That's Lane Beeler with the carry. As we talked about before half, the quarterback stepping in here for Marincek is Jamie Fryer. He's 5'7", 145 pounds. He's a sophomore. This is probably going to be his first amount of varsity action he's seen. So Alex getting kind of thrown into the wolves here. He's going to have to either sink or swim, and a lot of times this is a great learning experience for the young quarterback, but it can also be a tough one as well.
Absolutely, but it's a very good thing to see McCutcheon go out there and stop Zionsville. It's only a two touchdown game right now, so the young quarterback will have a chance to do something.
He sprints out right, and he is sacked this time. And he was being chased down by a Zionsville defender from behind. I believe that was, I thought it was number 44 for Zionsville. I might have to check that. No, it wouldn't be because that's Steven Wisniewski. I couldn't make out the number there, Alex.
It was either 48 or 49. So if it was 48, it's Ryan Pokerfack. Or if it was number 49, that would be Soren Didene. No idea how to say that last name. I apologize about the pronunciation there.
No problem. This time it'll be 3rd and 12, McCutcheon, inside of their 20-yard line. Shotgun this time for Fryer. He steps back, looks downfield, fires a ball, incomplete, almost picked off by the safety there for Zionsville. So a quick 3-and-out for McCutcheon, and now they're going to have to punt the ball right back to Zionsville. So 2 quick drives for both of these teams to start the second half. 8:17 remaining. Zionsville puts John Nomchef back to return the punt, up 14-0.
Yeah, and there's an immediate impact right there, not having Marcinek in there. To be in there as your leader and throw the ball. I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing. It's Marincek. But Zionsville, good job stopping the down there.
High punt, fair catch by Nomchef, and Zionsville will have a nice short field to work with as their offense will take back over on the McCutcheon 46-yard line.
And Zionsville's got to move the ball right here. Their defense has done a great job tonight, pretty much shutting down McCutcheon, actually absolutely shutting down McCutcheon. I think they've only netted about 40 yards tonight, and, forced, I don't think any turnovers, but a couple punts here and there, and a couple turnovers on down. So Zionsville can get out here and score early and enable their defense to have a nice rest.
I formation here for Zionsville. Parker Dunchie under center. 3-step drop. He looks and finds John Nomchef for a relatively short gain, maybe good for 3 or 4 yards.
It's a tough throw from the right hash all the way to the left sideline on that 5-and-out. Great catch by John Nomchef, but I'm very impressed with this McCutcheon secondary. It's able to really minimize damage and not allow for the big play tonight between Nomchef and Parker Dunchie. And looks like Zionsville to come out second and about 7 yards right now. Zionsville strong to the right, 1 back. Looks like they have 2 tight ends, actually.
And the snap is taken by Dunchie. He steps up in the pocket and eludes a defender. Breaks another couple of tackles. He's hard to bring down as he barrels forward the quarterback there. And that'll be a first down Zionsville, barring the penalty marker that came out late.
And I think it's going to be maybe another face mask. I think a defender might have grazed Parker Dunchie's face mask, but we'll see what the call is. Either way, great run by Parker Dunchie to avoid a couple tackles and get himself a first down right there.
A strong run there by the quarterback, and Alex was right. It is a face mask, so that'll only further help out the Eagles as the ball is now walked down further into McCutcheon territory. And the ball will finally stop and be placed right at the McCutcheon 20-yard line. So Zionsville in the red zone here as Dunshee awaits the play. In the first half, Parker's numbers not very comparable to last week. He was only 5 for 8 for 62 yards and 1 interception. He did have the 1 rush for 14 yards and a touchdown, but part of that was they didn't open up the playbook as much as they did, at least passing, as they did last week at Lafayette Jet.
Yeah, they've really done a good job mixing the pass and run game up tonight, and a couple play actions here, but they're really sticking to the ground game, even though they're doing a play action here. And he's got Namchef for a touchdown. So great play by Zionsville. That was really good play action fake. Kind of faked me out up here, and on that boot to the right was able to find Namchef in the second level for a touchdown. Great throw, great catch.
A nice play action fake, as Alex alluded to, by Parker Dunshee. Rolled right. That's the second time I think today we've seen that boot action out of the Zionsville offense. And first time he hit Chris Mason, the shorter route over the middle, and this time found Parker Dunshee for a 20-yard touchdown. So that's the first passing touchdown of the night for Parker. And the third extra point is made by Zionsville, so the Eagles will take a 21-0 lead. And Alex, as we talked about, that's kind of what McCutcheon feared. Now you fall behind 3 touchdowns, you have a sophomore quarterback in, and you're really fighting an uphill battle here. It's going to be tough sledding for them to come back.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the truth. And having that sophomore quarterback, you feel like being down 21-0 that you're going to have to throw the ball at some point to get down the field. And, Zionsville's secondary has played very well tonight, led by Joshua Woodard and Jackson Schaefer, as well as Tyler Glenn and Ben Kocher. So, McCutcheon's going to have to do something, and they need to do something quick to make this more of a manageable game, because right now it could get out of hand pretty quickly if Zionsville can force another 3 and out. But great drive by Zionsville coming off that third 3 and out at the very beginning of the half, and are able to throw the ball down the field.
And the kickoff.
And it looks like Dino is back, as well as, I'm not sure who this other return man is, but looks like the kicker is number 96 for Zionsville again. That's Jake Watkins.
So if it's 96...
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 95. I apologize.
Okay, that's Jack Grider.
Yeah, he's been doing most of the kickoffs tonight.
Grider will put his foot into the ball. It's a shorter kick, this time taken inside the 10-yard line, and another good coverage play by the Zionsville special teams. Zionsville kick coverage, as I mentioned earlier, has been pretty fantastic tonight, especially kind of corralling Nate Dino, who's a tough person to get your hands on and slips a lot of tackles, evades a lot of tacklers.
Yeah, and I can surely tell that Dino is a little shaken up after that hit right there that was laid on by the Zionsville kickoff team. He's in the huddle, but he's kind of grimacing and holding his arm, so we'll see how effective he can be on this kickoff right here. Or I'm sorry, on this offensive drive.
So Fryer still in the game at quarterback, the sophomore. This time McCutcheon will come to the line in the I formation. And the handoff is to the fullback. Once again, that's Lane Beeler. He's gotten a fair share of carries tonight. This time he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Hasn't really got a lot of upfield motion, really, on these fullback carries tonight.
No, he sure hasn't, but, when they've needed him on those third and shorts, second and shorts, he's certainly got the first down. I have not yet seen him get a loss of yards on any of the plays that he's ran the ball. So, he's a go-to guy in short down situations, but he's not going to get you a long gain like Deno is.
And it'll be second and long, second and about 9 for the Mavericks this time. And in the I formation again, Zionsville showing blitz. The handoff is to the running back. That's Nate Dino, makes a nice move to get to the outside, and he's finally pushed out of bounds. And that was number 41 for Zionsville, pushing him out of bounds.
Looks like that's Jackson Schaefer.
That is Jackson Schaefer, the safety.
Mentioned him a few times last week. He had 2 interceptions. Very good free safety. Really can get around and get a good read on the ball and jump on it to get the interception. Although last week's interceptions came on arid throws that were overthrown by the quarterback. But nevertheless, good job pushing him out of bounds, and McCutcheon will have 3rd and short. And I can almost bet that they're going to give the ball to their fullback, Lane Beeler, here.
And we will see if you're right. They're in the shotgun right now. And the pass is off, and a very nice stop there again by Jackson Schaefer. This time, that'll be a tackle for loss for Zionsville as McCutcheon was stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Fryer's pass was completed, but a short pass and a nice stop there by Jackson Schaefer coming up from a safety position. The Mavericks will be forced to punt, and most likely Zionsville will take over with great field position once again.
Yeah, and Zionsville's starting to look really sharp on defense. You know, they're covering their assignments, you know, making the quarterback hit his first read in the flat and minimizing damage to not allow McCutcheon to get that first down. So very good job by Zionsville, and let's see if their offense can do another strong drive.
Short punt here as it takes a pretty decent McCutcheon bounce for how short of a punt it was. It went out at about the Zionsville 45-yard line, so that's where the offense will take back over. Going back to Marincek, getting knocked out of the ball game, that's another dose of bad news. As we talked about earlier in our broadcast, the game last week, McCutcheon's season opener, was moved from Friday to Saturday as the wife of Principal, I forget the principal's name actually, it was Principal Beaker, John Beaker, the principal for McCutcheon. His wife, Tammy, unfortunately passed away last week. She is also the mother of one of the players on McCutcheon's team, so the whole team had to readjust their schedule to make arrangements for the services. So we take a quick break here. Wisniewski catches a pass, and John Nomchef makes a fantastic block on the play, but they may call a personal foul on that.
Which is unfortunate. You know, I thought that was a very clean block, and the defender's shoulder pads were facing John Nomchef, and they're going to call legal block in the back by John Nomchef. I think it's a very bad call, but I like that play call right there. You know, drop back and throw the ball to Colton Smith in the flat and let him run. And man, I thought that was a great block and a great play right there by Zionsville. But nevertheless, they're going to have first and about looks like 15.
The referee will mark the ball off. So brought you that piece of relatively somber news just to ask that you keep the McCutcheon football team and family in your thoughts and prayers as they all had a tough start to the season, and now their starting quarterback goes down. Hopefully he's not injured too bad, but it's been a rough start for the Mavericks, and hopefully Ken Frawheiger can get his team to rally around each other and have a productive season, at the very least to have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, and fortunately it's early in the season, so there's still a lot of room for improvement. You have a lot of games left to be played. Hopefully they can, like you said, rebound. And I've been impressed all night with Zionsville is up 21-0, but McCutcheon's defense has done a very good job containing the long plays and the passing game. Zionsville's only thrown I think 9 times or 10 times. Other than the touchdown they threw, they do have an interception, so they've done a pretty good job, against the Zionsville offense, who I thought would come in here and be able to just really dominate the line of scrimmage and move the ball on the ground as well as the air. So, I got to give them a lot of credit on how they've played so far.
That time the carry was to Colton Smith around the left side as he was stopped for a loss. So it's second and about 16 yards to go for the Eagles here in their own territory. The handoff is to Cole Wynn as he finds some room to run. And that's good for a little over 20-yard carry into McCutcheon territory. And a very nice run there, Alex, opening up holes for the running back, Cole Wynn, on the play.
It's a very nice play. And every time I give credit to McCutcheon for doing something great, the opposite happens the next play. It's kind of funny how that works as a play-by-play and color commentator. Every time you say something completely opposite will happen every once in a while. But great run right there by Cole Wynn. And like we said, he doesn't really have that breakaway speed, but he was able to get right through that line and through the linebackers and made it all the way to the secondary to have a great run.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Zionsville inside the McCutcheon 40. Another little bit of boot action here, and he hits. That time it's not Chris Mason. It was the
Carson
same
Kennedy.
route that Chris, I thought, ran last time. Maybe not, but Carson Kennedy, the tight end, makes his first catch of the game, I believe. And that was good for about 15 yards, and the ball will be put down to the McCutcheon 15-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Eagles once again, threatening to add to this lead.
Yeah, that was a great job by Parker Dunshee to get out in the flat, have a lot of poise, and hit his second read on the play with Carson Kennedy. He was very big impact last week across the middle and had a touchdown. So he's a good player and very athletic.
Quick pass here to the left side to John Nomchef. He's pushed out of bounds after about a 5-yard gain.
And once again, a great play. Get out to the flat to great little. It looks like it was a flanker screen out to John Nomchef. He's very dangerous out in the open, so those kind of plays are very beneficial to Zionsville if you can execute them. And it's very important that you throw the ball forward instead of backwards in case there is a drop. It's only incomplete as opposed to a live fumble. So, Zionsville's definitely looking to score here. They're on the 10-yard line, 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, Zionsville will come out with 3 wide receivers in a single back formation. Quick drop. Parker actually tucks it and looks to run. He can't find a whole lot of room. He gets about 3 yards, gets what he can, and gets out of bounds. And that was 3rd down for Zionsville No, that was 2nd down. I'm sorry. So now it'll be 3rd down and 1 for the Eagles down inside the McCutcheon 10-yard line, and they'll look to try to pick this up, Alex. They've struggled on short yardage situations throughout the evening, so we'll see if Zionsville can't put together a good run. I'm sure the coaches are itching for them to convert a 3rd and short.
Absolutely, yeah. They really have struggled on those 3rd and 1s, 2nd and 1s. And that's credit to McCutcheon's front line. They've really gotten a good surge as Zionsville looks to pass on 3rd down, and he is sacked in the backfield. That's a great play. Looks like number 28 came in and made the sack for McCutcheon. So great job by McCutcheon once again to stop Zionsville on 3rd and 1, and looks like Zionsville's going to be forced to kick a field goal here.
Yes, they will. I thought Zionsville would stick to it and just try to get one going here on the ground and get a 1st down, but they drop back with Parker. Credit McCutcheon's defense for getting through and making the sack, and this will be the first field goal attempt we've seen this year. The kick is up, and it is straight through the uprights, so a nice kick there. I believe Zionsville has solved their extra point and field goal duties, at least for the time being, as they take a 24-0 lead here over the McCutcheon Mavericks with 1 minute and 45 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, that was a great kick. Good hold. Nice job by the line to not let anyone through. So Zionsville is in charge now, and McCutcheon's really got to put the gas and get down the field if they want to have a chance to get back in this game. Seeing a lot of things in the second half from the Zionsville offense. That's one thing that I'll give a lot of credit to. Zionsville's coaches do a fantastic job of making halftime adjustments, looking at pictures of the defense and where they're aligned and, how they do their blitz packages. And Zionsville's done, like I said, great job getting out there and making those adjustments.
I want to apologize for any of the audio issues you might have experienced tonight. If you're listening to the broadcast, we've had some technical difficulties throughout the game. We've tried to roll with them and tried to manage them as we go, so hopefully you've still enjoyed the broadcast. I know the video footage seems to be coming through very clear on our end, but we have had a couple audio problems, so bear with us as we try to sort through those.
Yeah, and a lot of times these press boxes in the high school games, they're great, but sometimes you have to look through the window with the camera, and it creates a glare, so anyone who walks behind you can kind of see. So we apologize about the video as well, but we'll try to keep it together here and keep this broadcast going.
Short kickoff here from Zionsville is taken, and another great job by the kick coverage team as McCutcheon will take over at their own 27-yard line. And their drive will probably round out the 3rd quarter here as they take over again. It was 2 3-and-outs, I believe, to start the half for McCutcheon.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as a coach, what do you say to your sophomore quarterback, Aaron? Like, what kind of advice do you give Jamie Fryer as he comes in here trying to lead this team back with a 24-point deficit?
I think there's less pressure on him inheriting such a big deficit. I think if the game's closer, you have a lot more pressure not to lose. But, being down 24-0 going into the 4th quarter, you may be able to open it up for him a little bit and give him a little freedom and just kind of let him do his thing And like I said earlier, you're either going to sink or swim. Either way, it's going to be good experience going into the next game. I'd personally let him just go full force here, because if Marincic is going to be out the next game, you don't want him coming into the next game starting quarterback and still being timid. So if you're going to let him get out all the kinks, let him do it when you're already down 24-0 on the road. I think now's the time, as they do, and takes another big sack, this time from Scott Panola. But as they're doing, I think that just keep letting him drop back and try to throw the ball and opening up for him, and maybe hopefully design a few plays where he can complete a couple short passes like he did on the last series.
Yeah, and he certainly has the first game jitters, as right before the snap went off on the first down, he was called for a delay of game, wasn't paying attention to the play clock, because when you're out there and you're waiting for that play call, the clock's gonna move on you. He's already down to 10 seconds now, and right there he got a real good taste of the Zionsville defensive line right there on that great sack. I didn't see who that was, but that was a great play.
Play clock down to 1, and that should have been a delay of game, but they're not going to call it. The quick handoff out of the shotgun, and McCutcheon gets just about back to the original line of scrimmage. And as you were saying, that was well timed, Alex. The play clock actually ran out before the snap there, about a second before. But I think a lot of times in high school you'll see him give the benefit of the doubt. If
like
there's about
right
a 1
there.
second
Absolutely,
delay.
Yeah. And that's on the refs. It's hard to be panning across to the play clock and then back to the line of scrimmage to see if the ball's been snapped. But, McCutcheon's got to do something here on 3rd and about 20.
And this ball is picked.
Oh,
no, they're going to say he dropped it. That was Ben Kocher trying to come up with the interception as Fryer's pass sailed behind his receiver. So McCutcheon's going to be forced to punt yet again. And I got to think if Zionsville can march down and score one more time, you'll probably see the backup players and some of the JV players get some action here at the end of the game, which is quite a treat for them. This will be the second week in a row they get meaningful varsity time at the end of the game, and that's great for Zionsville to get out of the game healthy and rest your starters.
Absolutely, and it's like you said, it's nice to be on a good team that wins a lot, because when you're up a lot, you get a chance to go in there and play against the other team's varsity pretty much.
A nice wall set up this time for Namchef, trying to turn the corner. Oh, and some huge blocks for Zionsville. I got to find the number on this one.
That was 45, I think.
That's Jimmy Morrison on the punt return. There was a couple huge blocks, and Morrison might be the pipe cleaner on that one as he peeled off, and he got a blindside shot on a McCutcheon defender. Luckily, everyone was okay, but that was a great hard football hit there by Jimmy Morrison.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. It's not fun to be a part of. You don't want to be on the receiving end of that hit. But Jimmy Morrison, 6'3", 205 pounds. It's a big fella coming out at you. But great wall. That's the coaches love to see that. On their special teams, the punt return set up a successful return to the left side with that wall, just waiting for the returner to get around there, and opens up the possibility for things to happen. So great job. Special teams have been completely turned around by Zionsville tonight. Made PATs, an actual field goal that was kicked. Good punt recover or good punt returning, great kick returning. So Zionsville's done a good job tonight on their special teams end, and I think Zionsville collectively has played a very successful game. 24-0. The only area that I would argue that they haven't done very well is, like you said earlier, the short distances. 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1. They haven't converted those short down and distances. So Zionsville taking over at their own, at McCutcheon's 35-yard line is probably going to look to kick, like you said, get one more in before they put the JV in.
And the fourth quarter will start with Zionsville having the football, 1st and 10 at the McCutcheon 35. So this will be another short field here for Zionsville, the third one of the second half. I formation, and the ball is thrown, and really a good ball there by Parker on another quick slant by John Namchef. Just couldn't hold on to it. Hit him right in the numbers, it looked like, from here.
Yeah, John Namchef's head was looking at the end zone before he even caught it, and a lot of times receivers will take their eye off the ball, thinking that they're going to catch it and take off, but you got to control the ball first before you can run. So good throw by Parker Dunshee, great protection on the line, just a missed pass or missed catch by John Namchef, which we won't see a lot.
I formation again this time for Zionsville. 2nd and 10 now. The handoff. And he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Alex, I couldn't see who the running back was on the play.
That looks like maybe 21, Robert Wirtz, I believe. Well, no, it's a receiver.
I thought it looked like 21 as well, but as you said, he's listed as a wide receiver, so we'll have to check his number again.
And I know last week Joe Einter's number 24 got a few runs, but I'm not sure if that was 24 or not. Could have been. Yeah, it looks like it is 24 at tailback for Zionsville, Joe Einters. He got some carries last week, so look to see him get a lot of carries in this fourth quarter.
And he'll get another one right now as another good play. The interior runs tonight for Zionsville really haven't been that consistent. We've had a few nice ones, but most of them have been outside the tackles or you haven't seen a lot of 1-2 gap runs that have really broken for big gains.
Yeah,
I think the interior of the defensive line for McCutcheon needs to be credited. That's Nick Mack, the senior, and Derek Delancey.
Yeah, it seems to me like Zionsville's either gotten 15 yards on an interior run or, one or right at the line of scrimmage. So Zionsville's forced to punt. Looks like they're going to punt from their own or from McCutcheon's 38-yard line. See if he can pin it deep here.
A very high punt by Parker. The ball will bounce and take a nice Zionsville bounce, and they'll finally down it at the 5-yard line where McCutcheon will take over. So this young quarterback, Fryer, is going to have to try to put something together from deep in his own territory, which doesn't really help his case out much, but he's getting meaningful action, and hopefully Marincic's okay and will be able to play for them next week.
Yeah, we hope so. From what I could tell when Marincic went down, it almost looked like concussion-like symptoms. We hope he's okay. I know that's an injury that a lot of people say, oh, just, get back in there. But, when your mind's not right, it's hard to get in there and play. And this young quarterback, like you said, he's got that 12th defender of the goal line right behind him. So he's going to have to take care of the ball here and be smart with his throws.
Shotgun snap here. He looks. The ball is picked off by Scott Pinola, the linebacker, and he'll walk into the end zone. So, you could kind of see that coming with the way he's had a rocky start here, this sophomore quarterback, and they let him have it from, he took the snap, dropped back inside of his own end zone, and sure enough, the ball was picked off by Scott Pinola, the senior, in return for a nice touchdown there for Zionsville.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where that quarterback feels like he has a sense of urgency to have to get rid of the ball and not allow himself to get sacked for a safety. But, more importantly, you got to take care of the ball. And, Scott Pinola had a good break on the ball in the flats and was able to take that ball and walk into the end zone. So, congrats to Scott Pinola. He's been all around the world in this game, getting sacks, making great tackles and pretty much covering up Nate Deno all night. So good for him to get that interception and walk into the end zone for 6 for himself. So nice job. Zionsville's defense I'm very impressed with tonight.
Pinola sure has filled the stat sheet tonight. And like Alex said, just to piggyback off of that is, Zionsville's defense has been very impressive. A lot of times they bent, at least in the first half, and let Deno get out for some big runs. They let McCutcheon get into their own territory, but nonetheless kind of held strong and didn't give up any points tonight. McCutcheon hasn't even attempted a field goal, so Zionsville's done a very good job of not letting McCutcheon get inside their own 30. They've kept him outside of that range, which is fantastic for high school football because a lot of these kickers can't reach it from that distance.
Yeah, McCutcheon's first 3 drives, they got to about Zionsville's 45, maybe the 40, and each time, Zionsville was able to shut them down and get the ball back. And after those first 3 drives, Zionsville's defense really locked down and was able to keep McCutcheon out of their own territory. So, very good job by Zionsville's defense and a lot of momentum going into next week. I'd expect to start seeing the second stringers come in here as Deno takes the kickoff return. And once again, great coverage, great tackle. That was number 20 for Zionsville. Looks like that was Brad Buckland, 5'9", 175 junior. Doesn't start and will maybe get in here on the defensive secondary, but great tackle and good coverage.
Yeah, Zionsville leading now 31-0, 10 minutes left to go in this ball game, and it looks like Zionsville has put in their second team, so the starters will come out of the ball game. A nice showing by the Zionsville starting defense, and it'll get lot of these underclassmen and JV guys some meaningful reps here, and I think that's fantastic experience moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talked about this last week, and to have your second stringers in there playing against, you know, McCutcheon's varsity, it's just a great thing to have. As you know, McCutcheon still having these late game woes with this young quarterback, false start, and it looks like secondary for Zionsville. I see number 20 and number 13. Number 20 just had that great tackle, Brad Buckland, and it looks like number 13 is Jake Minuski. He is a sophomore, 6'1", 147, good-sized kid for a sophomore.
Jake Minuski, I believe, just recently moved to Zionsville, correct?
I think so, yes, sir.
But he has found himself in the two deep, only a sophomore, so with next year, Jackson Schaefer's ahead of him. Jackson Schaefer leaving next year, that should open up an opportunity for Jack Minuski, or is that Jake Minuski?
I think it's Jake Minuski.
Okay, that should open up an opportunity for Jake Minuski, and so these reps will be even more meaningful for people that are, you know, have immediate playing time ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like, I think McCutcheon took a timeout with 10-12 left. Zionsville's leading 31-0. So once again, Zionsville's defense has been all but perfect tonight with pretty much a shutout and hasn't even allowed McCutcheon to get close to the end zone. So great job.
And McCutcheon's offense is going to take over again. I have yet to see if they've put in the second team yet. Zionsville, if you're looking here from the press box, Zionsville's team is noticeably larger than the McCutcheon team. And it looks to me like all the starters are still in, minus Matt Marincic, who went down with what looked like a blow to the head. And the handoff is taken by the McCutcheon running back for about a 3-yard carry. That still doesn't get him back to the original line of scrimmage after having the false start penalty. So it'll be about 2nd and 12 for McCutcheon.
And looks like number 93 just checked into the game. That's Chad Hawley. He's a 6', 178 senior defensive lineman. So we'll try to get you the names of these kids who are getting in here to play for Zionsville. I see 43 as well. That is Brandon Wilson, who is a 6'3", 173 sophomore. So once again, another sophomore for Zionsville to get in there and play as Nate Dino takes it around the left side for a pretty big gain.
Dino finds an opening around the outside, and he's finally pushed out of bounds. He'll get 7 yards, and it'll be 3rd and manageable here for McCutcheon, and we'll see if this McCutcheon offense can get a first down and get something going here at the end of the game.
Looks like Matt Kramer was on the tackle there. He's 5'7", 163 junior as DB and corner for Zionsville. And like I said, we're going to keep trying to get you the names of these players who are in here.
Defensive end number 84, Daniel McCullough, I think, is still in the game here. So they haven't taken out quite everyone yet. Zionsville hasn't.
Uh-oh, there he goes.
And there's a big opening here for the McCutcheon running back. And
great tackle.
Wow, brought down. That was number 39 for Zionsville. That's Matt Kramer. A very nice play for him to catch up and make that tackle. Was that Dino on the carry there?
Yeah, it sure was. Dino got in that second level, and like we said, he's got a lot of speed, but great job by number 39 right there, Matt Kramer, to take a good angle and be able to pretty much wrap Dino's ankles up before he walked into the end zone. So very nice job, and it looks like Dino might have gotten shaken up there on that tackle. His ankles got twisted up a little bit underneath Matt Kramer's arms. So, but like we said, nice job, and it's great to get in there as a second-string guy and make a play like that and save your team from preventing a shutout.
I formation this time for McCutcheon, deep in Zionsville territory, maybe the deepest they've been all night. And a great tackle there. The first man on the job there was number 51, Mike Luce. And then gang tackled by the Zionsville defense as the handoff went to the fullback there, Lane Beeler for McCutcheon. And going back to Matt Kramer's tackle there, Alex, that was kind of the angle of pursuit drill personified on the field there as Matt Kramer, it looked like, was going to have no chance at catching Deno, especially with his speed, but that's what happens when you take a nice angle. You run to where the back is going, not to where he is, and was able to kind of shoestring tackle him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember that every time, in defensive drills, when you're on the opposite side at cornerback, coach wanted you to play insurance and take an angle and just pretty much angle yourself to end up right at the 1 yard line on the pylon. So coach is going to love looking at that in video and seeing him take that good angle, like you said, at pursuit, able to make that tackle. And now McCutcheon, instead of having a touchdown, they're at third down and about 8 yards with this young quarterback.
Yeah, it will be 3rd and 8 Mavericks. Now we're under 8 minutes to go in the game. Mavericks are trailing Zionsville 31-0. Fryer hands the ball off. This handoff again, I believe, is to Deno, as Zionsville has a tough time tracking him down. He gets about a 10, 15-yard carry inside the Zionsville 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the McCutcheon Mavericks.
Yeah, if I'm seeing correctly, it looked like that was number 44 on the tackle, I think, and I think he's coming out right now. Is it Steven Wisniewski? Or is that 84? Yeah, it looks like that was 84. I apologize.
That'd be 84, the defensive end, Daniel McCullough. He's gotten to play quite a bit this game. He started last week. I formation now for McCutcheon, and another handoff as the pile barrels forward, and McCutcheon is finally stopped at the Zionsville 2-yard line. So the second team for Zionsville putting up as much of a fight as they can against these starters for McCutcheon.
Yeah, and it's tough to go against these starting groups. Pretty much more sizable, as these young kids just aren't fully developed yet. And, a good job by McCutcheon with a good surge on the offensive line, able to run up there and looking to punch this in and get some points on the board before the end of the game.
You have a lot of sophomores taking on seniors, and that's a big difference in high school. And Zionsville stops him again, so McCutcheon gets down this time to inside or just at the Zionsville 1-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and goal with 1 yard to go. So the youngsters for Zionsville hanging tough down there, guarding the goal line. They don't want to give up this shutout.
Yeah, and the one thing about this young Zionsville second group that's in here is they're absolutely going to play with all kinds of intensity. That's the one thing that they're not going to lack. They might lack size, strength, and football knowledge, but they do not lack intensity. They're going to be digging and clawing to get that tackle.
And this time the back will break the plane, and McCutcheon will finally get on the board. Their first touchdown of the ball game comes on a 1-yard run. I wasn't able to tell if that was Deno or his backup. We'll try to get that to you.
I think that was Deno, but I'm not 100% sure.
Either way, the touchdown scores, and Zionsville lead shrinks to 31-6, 31-7 barring the extra point, which it's up and it's good. So 31-7 Zionsville, 6.5 minutes left to go in the game, and now we'll get to see the Zionsville offense. Some of those younger guys get in the game and see what they can do. They actually scored a touchdown last week against Lafayette Jeff's first team. I believe it was Joe Einhurst took in a run from about 5 to 10 yards out, so Zionsville's second team offense going to get work for the second week in a row, and I think that's great. I think that's so important to any high school team. I mean, we see Marincek go down tonight, and the quarterback comes in. He's inexperienced. He doesn't know what's going on. And, moving towards the future, if you have a player that goes down, you want a player right behind him that knows his role, knows what to do, has varsity experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you're not going to get the talent like the starters are, but at least to get out there and get that experience is definitely a positive thing. And, credit to Zionsville to be a good enough program to have backups that can go in there and score like they did last week. And, if I remember correctly, Colton Smith got a lot of those carries and was able to get that in there for a touchdown, in the last few minutes of the game. But more than anything, it allows the Zionsville offense to run the clock down and use some of the fourth quarter that's out there. And, we'll see how they do here. This McCutcheon defense pretty much all night, despite the 31 points, has done a pretty good job. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal. The other touchdown came off an interception that was walked in by Scott Panola. But, pretty good job so far tonight, and we'll see how they do against this second team.
Zionsville back to return the kick. This time Namchef and Colton Smith actually comes up and takes it. And he's got a little bit of running room, breaking tackles, and he's busting it open. Racing almost turns the corner there, Alex. Nice wheel shown by number 4, Colton Smith. He's been running the ball out of the backfield a lot tonight, and this was his first opportunity at a kick return as John Namchef has taken most of them tonight. But that's a 62-yard return deep into McCutcheon territory.
Absolutely. It was kind of funny because he pretty much just stepped right in front of the other return man and took the ball from him and took it himself, and it ended up being a good positive carry. No penalties, which is good to see, and he's a strong runner. He really is. He gets split time with Cole Wint, who we talk about a lot, and now looks like the second string team for Zionsville's offense is in with Joe Einters and Joshua Hinkle at quarterback number 8.
And the pass is thrown, and it's connected as the receiver fights for yards. The quarterback in for Zionsville is number 8, as Alex mentioned, Joshua Hinkle.
And from what I've heard about Joshua Hinkle, he's got a really strong arm. He's 6'2", 170. He's only a junior, so he could get a chance to play next year when Parker Dunshee graduates. But I've heard a lot of good things about him from the coaching staff. I guess he has a really strong arm, and we're able to see a little bit of it on that slant right there. But I would expect to see a lot more runs this series and work this clock down.
Number 78, Joshua Dunlop, steps in at offensive tackle for Zionsville. 6'6", 225 as a sophomore, so he should grow into a good one with the way training and conditioning program is at Zionsville. He's got size already, just has to keep on filling out. As a carry for Zionsville gets close to a first down, it'll be 3rd and 1 Eagles. And the ball is placed inside the McCutcheon 25.
Yeah, that's a big kid as a sophomore, 6'6", 225. I mean, I can't imagine how he's going to fill out. That's pretty impressive.
It'll be I formation again. Is that still Joe Einhurst in the game, Alex?
Yes, I believe so, number 24.
Okay, Joe Einhurst at tailback and Hinkle the quarterback. The handoff, and it was going to be to the fullback, but the play got stopped before it started due to a penalty.
Looks like the call was a false start. Looks like the fullback that's in right now is number 35, Matt Panola, who's only a sophomore, and he's 6 foot 200 as well. So only a sophomore, 6 foot 200, and it looks like from right there, the play was stopped, but he's got some wheels on him too. A lot to look forward to in the next few years with Zionsville. All these sophomores that are getting in here on the second team.
Well, if Matt Panola has some of the dedication that his older brother Scott has had, I have no doubt that Matt will turn into a very good player, just like his brother has. And Zionsville staring down a 3rd and 7 now. They hand the ball off to Panola up the middle. He still fights for some extra yards. Gets about 4, and Zionsville is going to be in a strange situation here, as it would be a long field goal. It's not quite punting territory, so I imagine they'll probably run the ball and try to burn some clock or at least get the first down.
Yeah, this is almost what I would consider no man's land in high school football, where you're just outside of field goal range, but you don't really want to punt it away because you don't have enough room to pin it deep, so you just kind of have to go for it. So we'll see how Zionsville does here, and I would suspect just to run the ball and try to pound for a first down here.
I expect they'll be content with just about anything on this play. They throw it. It's off the hands of the receiver. Looked like a lot of contact on the play, but the ref is going to let it go, as Zionsville will turn the ball over on down, so McCutcheon will take back over. And trying to check from up here to see if they're going to put their second unit in yet.
It looks like that sophomore quarterback's still in, so even though he is a second-string quarterback, we'll see what they do here. It looks like Nate Dino might still be in here.
Yeah, I think it looks to me like a lot of the starters are still in for the Mavericks. And the handoff is to Deno as he's breaking tackles and finally breaks free. He's off to the races. That's going to do a lot for the stats, but it's not going to really do much for the outcome of this game, as it's pretty much not in question anymore. Zionsville leads by a score of 31-7, but a great carry by Nate Deno nonetheless, and maybe this is just a good opportunity for McCutcheon's first team to kind of gel with this new quarterback a little bit and get some game action together before next week in case Marincic has to sit out.
Yeah, and we were just told that was actually number 38 for McCutcheon. Blake Elming, the sophomore, who's had a lot of carries tonight, done a good job and has gotten some good yards. That's a really good run right there.
And a false start by the running back on this play for McCutcheon. That'll move them back 5 yards. And they'll run another play here.
Looks like we got 1st and 15 for McCutcheon. And looks like they come out with doubles to the left and one wide receiver to the wide side with a pro formation. Another penalty here. I'm not sure.
A flag was thrown before the play. Zionsville coach is walking out on the field. Zionsville may have had too many men. They sprinted someone off there at the end.
That's what it may have looked like. I'm not sure. Or maybe
tends to happen
looks
every
like
now and then.
They're waving the flag off, though.
Okay.
Maybe they call a timeout.
Zionsville may have got a timeout before the flag came out. Tends to happen every now and then when you're rushing players in and out of the ball game late. You want to know that you want to see that everyone gets playing time, and sometimes the coaches just lose track.
Yeah, and the funny thing is you see that penalty happen even in the next level of football, college and pro. Sometimes they just have one too many men on the field and don't. I mean, it's kind of hard to understand like how you're not playing the same position as the guy right next to you, but nevertheless, it happens every once in a while, even in the upper levels of football.
It happens at all levels, and there's not really any excuse you can make up. Sometimes you just miscount or you just forget or, I guess in the heat of the game with so much going on, there's so many moving parts to the game of football, it is sometimes easy to lose track. And this time, Zionsville's defense will stuff this running play as McCutcheon gets about a yard, maybe a half a yard. We're now under 3 minutes left to go in the ball game. It'll be 3rd down and about 15 yards to go for the Mavericks from the Zionsville 28-yard line.
And
I think that's 2nd down and 15. I apologize. And the handoff this time to the right, looking for room is McCutcheon, and gang tackled nicely by Zionsville there. The ball might have come out.
Came out, yeah.
And they haven't called it one way or the other. Looks like McCutcheon comes out with it, so they'll maintain possession.
Either way, that was a really good job by Zionsville's second group to get in there and do a really good job gang tackling, and they're having a lot of guys flying into the ball. Like we said, the intensity level of this second group is unmatched. They're playing very strong and are all flying to the ball, doing a good job.
So now it'll be 3rd and long for McCutcheon as the clock continues to tick. And we're hearing whistles all over the place at this point. This has been a very slow ending. And it looks like there'll be a timeout taken by McCutcheon. So, Alex, looking forward a little bit to next week and kind of moving on from this game. Zionsville takes on Noblesville, and we haven't gotten a chance to see Noblesville throughout history. I know Zionsville has fared extremely well against Noblesville. I don't think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember we did a stat last year that I'm not sure Coach McWhorter has ever lost to Noblesville in his career.
I don't think so. I think you're absolutely right. I kind of remember that stat right there, and Zionsville's program is just pretty fundamentally sound every year, and against teams like Noblesville, where they don't have all the talent that Zionsville does. We've been pretty dominant against them, and Yeah, looking forward to next week. Zionsville's the coaches said they had a really good week of practice, and it kind of showed tonight. They took care of the ball, only had one turnover, got the second group out there in the fourth quarter, was very sound on defense. The first team didn't let up a touchdown, so they. As far as coaching points, I don't have a lot for Zionsville to improve on other than, execution on those second and shorts, third and shorts. What do you think about McCutcheon? What do they have to look forward to? What can they do better next week?
As there's a broken play there, and the quarterback tries to make something out of it. He's tackled. McCutcheon, I think they're just going to have a long week of practice, especially this quarterback. Really, it just depends on if Marincic can come back or not, because really, they did not play a bad first half of football. They got shut down a couple times, but they did come out of this game. I guess it's tied in the turnover margin now after the interception, but me and you will be at Plainfield next week. We'll be doing the, I believe, or no, next week we're off, aren't we?
Yeah, we sure are.
We're off. We have a game back here at Zionsville. McCutcheon lined up for a field goal and missed from about 35, 36 yards out.
It's a good kick. Had definitely enough distance. Just kind of pushed it wide right. Not a bad kick, really. Just didn't get it between the uprights.
The second team Zionsville offense will take back over. And we've got lucky this year. We're going to do games at Zionsville, Lafayette, Jeff, and Plainfield. 3 very nice stadiums.
Absolutely.
Very nice press boxes, very welcoming fans. So we actually have a nice little lineup this year. We'll bring you all the action we can each week from Audio Sports Online. Just go to your team and click on your team's page, and you should be able to see the live broadcast each week. If it's not me and Alex doing the game, there'll be another team doing it. We're under a minute left to go in the ball game. Zionsville is going to be forced to run one more play before this game is over. The score is 31-7.
And this game went relatively fast. Well, I guess it is almost 10 o'clock. But
start time was 7:30, though.
That's right. Very, a lot of long drives. Most touchdowns came on long drives. There was no big plays tonight, other than Nate Deno had that one that was called back. But, I think the longest play tonight, from both sides was no more than 25 yards, I would guess.
Yeah, a couple long runs late, but the clock will wind out. And Zionsville gets out of here in their home opener with a 31-7 victory over McCutcheon. Very impressive as they dominated in every aspect of the game tonight. And they will move to 2-0 as McCutcheon will fall to 0-2. We hope the best for Matt Marincic. Hope he heals fast. And coming to you, we'll be back on in 2 weeks, actually. We have the week off next week, so we'll be back from Audio Sports Online. I'm Aaron.
This is Alex.
Signing off.